Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Mixitup podcast. I'm Mike. That's Nick. This week we got a special guest from another one from the NYG podcast, BBO NYG podcast, John Depot at NYG Slap Parade. He's joining us this week. Last week we had Jules. Now we got John. John, what is good, man?
Hey man, thanks for having me on again. I'm excited
Yep,
to shoot the shit with you guys for tonight.
it's gonna be a good one, man. Nick, what topics do we have, man, tonight?
Um, fuck the Matrix. Are we living in it? Probably. Fuck the movies. The movies are all right. Whatever. Um, the Delta variant of the coronavirus has hit the United States. That probably is going to suck. The whole fucking economy is going to collapse. We're all going to fucking die again.
Yep.
Cryptocurrency and manipulation. Are we? And how we're just constantly manipulated, and who the fuck knows what anything we've ever been told is fucking true or not.
We'll see.
So, John Depot, you're the guest. Which one you want to talk about first, pal?
Um, so I guess the manipulation part, because I feel like I know a little bit more about that than the crypto and this Delta variant of fucking COVID. Just the words make me nauseous just hearing it. Um, but I think with manipulation, man, I think that's a big part of why the news is as powerful as it is. They have such like a big influence over everything. Hollywood's involved with it, social conditioning and stuff like that. I like that topic a lot. I don't know specifically what you guys want to get into with that, but
Anything?
like that's the first thing I think of when you say manipulation.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, I'm into anything, and I'm pretty sure that we're all just completely brainwashed from the beginning of fucking time. And there is a possibility that everything that we believe, like this bottle is glass and it's green and red light or fucking letters, could potentially all not even be real. It could all just be fucking a mind manipulation. So, and I have some proof of how it could be, but take it on, John. Let's hear what you want to talk about. Let's hear what you want to say about it in the media and all that stuff.
I just think that if you're if you're trying to lead society, and we're not talking about a village of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 people. We're talking about hundreds of millions of people with all different agendas and access to whatever they would like to have you have there's a lot to be contained. So I think that they, in order to kind of get their agendas done and trying to keep people in whatever state that they want them in, and whatever distraction method they are, I think they use like a lot of the coronavirus itself. They use race, they use even sports to kind of divide people and pit people against each other, instead of kind of sharing the videos and sharing stories about how people could come together. I think the people manipulate that. I also think when you're talking about like celebrities and athletes and rappers and all this stuff, with they're going out there spending Lamborghinis and Ferraris and jewelry, and they kind of set this like high expectation for people to kind of be more looking to live more in the moment now, not kind of set themselves up for freedom later on in life, and kind of keep that hamster wheel rolling. I think that's also a big part of it as well. But in between the two podcasts we're recording, I smoked a lot of weed, so who knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
I tell you, the manipulation part, man, that definitely gets me. Like as far as the media concerns, it worries me because I grew up like listening to watching the news, believing that everything they tell me is just the truth. Like, but if that power
Wait,
gets
say that
in
again, Mike. You broke up on that. You broke up, Mike. You
you
broke up.
sure?
You grew up listening to what?
I
Yeah,
grew up
it
listening.
froze.
It froze. All right. Well, I grew up listening to like the news, like we all have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm listening to the news, I just believe that everything they're telling me is like true. It's fact.
Right.
It's factual. But now what,
Good news, everyone!
with that power that brings, like what if that happens to fall in the wrong hands and some evil person just uses the media for lies and deception? And in turn, that's giving that person power because they own the media. So they can put out whatever they want.
Yep.
And that kind of worries me as far as manipulation goals, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
What about your take, Nick? I know yours was like a little besides the media.
yeah, but I mean, I 100% agree with that, and I don't, and it's fucked up, but I don't know if I could ever believe anything that's ever told to me in the media ever again, because and people would say, well, why would the government lie to you, and why would the media lie to you? And it's like, your best friend will lie to you. Your wife will cheat on you. Your husband will cheat on you. Why do you think the government gives a fuck about you to not lie to you to better their fucking selves? Like, you got to be oblivious or fucking just stupid to think that the government and or the media wouldn't tell you a fucking lie. Right?
I don't even know how anybody could say such a ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've been alive more than 3 or 4 years and have just even remotely paid attention to the political world, like, that's fucking all it is lies.
Yeah.
They say one thing, do another, say that what they didn't say, and then fucking, at the end of it, all of a sudden they're worth 80 times more money than they were fucking when they first started. Like,
Yeah.
it's just pay attention for like 5 minutes, you learn.
Yeah, for real. Like all the money they made off that bullshit.
Yeah, I think.
Come on.
I think a large part of it, though, is when if you're just an individual and you're not exactly like have like a warrior mentality, or more of like just a kind of follower that's just beta, whatever, delta, whatever the fucking letters you want to call people. I think the acknowledging that you're being lied to, you're being deceived, you're being manipulated, I think that's a pretty fucking heavy burden to know. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to turn on the news, which is supposed to be some honest source of information that generations have grown up, relying on, not just in TV, but going back with the newspapers from before that, for however many fucking years before that, to know that, like, however long you've been alive, you've bought bullshit. That's like a big pill to swallow, and I don't know that what percentage of people are willing to swallow that pill and will just kind of go on. It's like, in the middle of the night, you wake up and you hear fucking sounds, and then you're like, kind of like, you're up for like 4.5 seconds, and then you're like, I'm all right. Just kind of go back to cozy back to bed. Just lying to yourself that could have just been a fucking murderer just down in your fucking kitchen looking for a knife to kill you with. Yeah. Like, you kind of just lie to yourself, saying, it's nothing. You go right like this. It's a kind of the same in the same vein as that, but on a grander scale, obviously.
Just so you can get a couple extra hours of sleep, you're willing to get killed.
I mean, yeah. I mean, think about it. Let's say you're 60 years old. You know what I mean? Every day you come home from work, you put the news on while you're eating dinner. You fucking got heated about this, passionate about that, went out and voted about this, went out and voted about that, and argued about all your whole fucking life. And then people present you with information that, hey, look, these people have been lying to you. And ironclad, like, if you just do the research, you could see that most things that they tell us are lies. Then you have to kind of look into yourself and say, am I fucking naive? Am I not the person I thought I was for 65 years? Like, I think that works to the people who are doing the manipulating. I think it kind of is almost like a Stockholm syndrome in a sense.
That's wild, man.
I mean,
it's like the murderer came in the house and banged his knee, and he's like, ow. And then he's like, you know what? I bet he heard it, but he probably just like pretend it didn't happen. So the murderer just still anyway.
You know what the best part is? That the newscasters from CNN and then the newscasters from Fox and Trump and Biden, they're all fucking partying together and having fucking orgies with like massive amounts of women and massive amounts of drugs, and they're just laughing at everybody, man. I personally don't believe that politicians at that level don't get along with each other, and they're not in fucking cahoots, man. Because there's
it's all game.
Yeah, it's all
fucking game, man. It's left wing, right wing, same bird. That's been my political stance for like a decade plus, since I'm basically a teenager.
That makes sense.
They're all, bro. I mean, what and you see it is, you could look back and there's people out there on Twitter, there's people out there on YouTube that put these compilation videos together of literally politicians arguing with themselves, flip flopping through the fucking years on stances on gay marriage, on gun control, on crime, whatever the fuck it is, drugs,
Right.
and you just see them arguing with themselves, the same fucking guy, the same woman, back and forth, and just kind of like satiate the moment, make sure that your base stays with you, and you can try to convert some of those people on the fringe. Sorry, I just got a message, kind of broke my train of thought there.
And those topics, though, are they even that important? Like that? Those are the main fucking topics. Like, where do you stand on gay marriage? Where do you stand on this, that, and the other thing? And it's like, all right, number one, like everybody should have the right to do whatever the fuck they want. But like, that's like one of the main. Those are the main topics that everybody's worried about. But those don't really affect most people's everyday life.
No way.
Right?
We just mentioned that on the Giant podcast before. They had an NFL player that came out gay. So I felt the same way. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. If they don't affect me, why should I give a fuck about what they do? Right. Why aren't more people like that? I don't understand. Why do they have to be in everybody else's business?
Right. Have your rights. You should just be a human being, right? Why is sexuality a fucking political topic?
It's divisive.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
They spent however many of the last decades preaching to Catholic people, preaching to religious people how, gay people are, that's Satan, it's this, it's that, Sodom and Gomorrah, all this fucking shit, how it's evil to be gay, that, they have this fucking, defensive line of fucking angels standing at fucking the gate saying, no, you suck dick, so you can't fucking come into heaven. So they were taught that for their entire life. So it's kind of like growing out of that. But, like you said before, our generation, it's like, who even fucking cares, man? Like, it's not really, when someone says you're gay, it's like, okay, you are, you're not. It's like literally as irrelevant as, what you ate for dinner last night.
Right.
Right. You said it, man. They were brainwashed and shit from the beginning. They grew up and it grows out of them because they were brainwashed into believing that kind of shit. It's fucking weird.
What did Jay-Z say, bro? What you ate don't make me shit.
99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I know he said that.
Yeah, there has to be 98 problems in that case if there was no women involved.
Yeah.
Shit. Now, let me ask you a question now. Now I'm going to get to the deeper side of manipulation, right?
Yes.
We all see, I don't know, this thing, for instance, right? This pen, this is black, right? But is it black because we've been told it's black, right? Or is it black because it actually is black? And I have a simple little fucking test that I think, I don't remember the exact details here, but
you have a test for us to take.
No, not to take, but to just, this is a true test that happened, right?
All right, so let's pause right there, Nick. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll get right back into this test.
All right.
Pass. All right, we're back to the Mix It Up podcast. Nick has something deep he's going to go into about this test. Let's see if he gets us there.
All right.
No, I got to take a hit first.
So there was a test done where glasses, like, I don't know if they're sunglasses, whatever, were put on people's eyes. And when they looked left, they would see red, right? It was like a shaded kind of glass thing or whatever. And then when they looked right, they would see blue. Something like that. Don't fucking hold me to the details. But eventually, the glasses didn't work anymore. They didn't see red when they looked to the left. They didn't see blue when they looked to the right. Their mind trained itself to not see the red and not see the blue anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they just saw regular colors. Now another test happened, and I think it had to do with something with fucking astronauts or something. They had to teach them a certain way of something, or whatever the fuck it was. They put glasses on that when you put them on, everything looked upside down. And we know that our brain, our eyes see everything upside down right now. And your brain fucking correlates it back to looking right side up, right? That's a scientific thing. Right. So they put glasses on people that made everything look upside down. And eventually their brain reacted and put it right side up. Okay. So that one's a little bit different, but the color one, your brain is now not seeing the red or the fucking blue outside of the corner of your eyes. So it's there, but it doesn't exist in your brain. You've convinced yourself that those colors are not there anymore. right? So
Mhm.
have we convinced ourselves that this is black, that this is a hat, that this is a shirt, that I'm fucking here at all, that you're there? Have we convinced ourselves of this? Have we been manipulated to the fucking on the lines that we're actually real?
That
And
question,
we're not.
that question scares the shit out of me, to be honest with you.
I
Yeah.
know.
If that's the truth, then that's scary in a way, because like then you start thinking like, what kind, am I a program? Like, you know what I mean? Am I just like a computer program?
Right.
I don't know. I could
Could
go
you be a computer program with free will though? Like some type of super advanced
Are we just as
AI?
yeah, are
Could
we
be.
super AI? I don't know. Like this is just it's crazy.
It is crazy.
One of my biggest hopes in life is that when you die, like all your questions get answered.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's a small part of me that just like not looks forward to it because I don't want to ever rush anything like that, obviously. But like I just, heaven, hell, great, whatever you want to believe in, whatever the case is, reincarnation. That's probably the best thing to believe in if you want to believe in anything. I guess heaven would be pretty cool too if it's what you think it is, not like, whatever. But anyways, I lost your train of thought now. See,
No,
I had a fucking pat.
that'd be awesome to see, to get all your
Oh
questions.
yeah, it's right. Yeah, it would be not that you could sit there and just have like a Rolodex of questions and just go through them, but
Right.
you just like become knowing, like you just get like you have the information, you understand like this is what happens after death, and
No, I want to know if there's other aliens, if there are other races, is other like how big is the fucking world? Like I would have so many questions about like the space. You know what I mean? And like time and shit like that. It's just fucking, it's just like, it's crazy. It's almost like it's a tease for us. We're only here like on average, like 80 years. Like, that's crazy, man. That's it. It's got to be more. I want more. I want questions answered. I want to go up there. I'm like, all right, I'm dead now. Like now start talking. You know,
now start talking.
like I need to hear shit.
But what if you already know and you just, I've spoken about this, about how I actually, I don't know. A lot of the times I think that we're also up there and we're fucking guiding our own selves, and we sent us here to try to like perform a certain task in a certain amount of years. So what if we actually do already know, but there's a blockage up here, either something that we're not allowed to fucking know, right? And some people do break out of, like psychics and fucking all those people, or we're just, we're not supposed to know, but we do know. It's deep inside. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like sometimes you have like a
Instinctively.
Yeah. You ever, when you're like, you ever thinking about something so hard, like say you're standing at the edge of the beach or something, and you're like, something's here in my brain about to fucking explode into a knowledge that I can't grasp, but it's right here. And you can't get past it because it feels like there's a wall in front of you. Has that ever happened to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I pretty much smoke weed all day long, so
I figured
there's
that was
not
going to be your
many
answer,
walls. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking like
smoke weed every day.
Usually it's all fluid up there.
Yeah.
I think I've been blocked like a couple of times, like in that aspect.
We're not talking about getting cock blocked, Mike.
No,
Yeah.
it always happens. But like, yeah, I've had this. Yeah, I've had like that kind of like, oh shit, like almost like like you're stuck in a way.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, how people say use only a certain percentage of your brain. Like, I want to be able to be the ones that like use more or some shit. You know what I mean?
So that's I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast a couple weeks ago, and Neil deGrasse Tyson was on it, and he debunked that whole 10% of your brain thing. Yeah, I don't know. He explained where it came from, like some paper back in the day, and then it was just like, a game of telephone, and all of a sudden it turned into like just common like old wives' tale, I guess you can say. It's not that we use 10% of our brain, period. I think it's we use 10% of our brain at a time. Because like different parts of your brain do different things, and they, feeling and memory, movement, this and that. So I just don't know if you can engage probably 100% of your brain at the same time, but just like instantaneously, whatever, time interval you could use 10 at a time or whatever. I think that's what it was.
I thought it was only like 3% of your brain you could use. Like I feel like sometimes I operate on like one. You know what I mean? Some days you're just like, man, I can't even get to like 3. Imagine like if you able to like get to like 10. Sky's the limit, man. So much knowledge. But that's what I think too. Like maybe like when we die, like our brain just gets turned all the way up to like 100%, and we just know everything.
I think whatever the limitations of human form are would melt away.
I think
I think that would be what would happen.
I think that's one of the limitations. Is that
Yeah.
all the brain power?
Yeah, because we have to deal with not just like I don't know if you ever like watch any videos or anything like that or heard anybody talk about like if they've actually died and come back and stuff like that, like the calmness that comes from it. Like you hear these stories of like relatives coming to take people and all this stuff. I don't know. It's so morbid to even talk about. It's kind of getting me bummed out talking about death.
All right. Let me ask you something. You know, did you ever, and I know we talked about this as well. I always bring up these recurring topics, but did you ever read the study where matter is changed by people analyzing it?
Yeah, it's quantum mechanics.
Yeah, like light. If they're fucking, I don't know whatever their studies are. If the light shines in and you're not looking at it, it reacts differently than if you are looking at it. So
I think it's called the 2-slit study or something like that. Two slit experiment, something like that name. Yeah.
So
and they were like,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the details either. But the light react. Do you know anything more about it or?
I think what they were doing was they were like shooting photons or whatever fucking word it was, like at a board and just like tracking it. Mm-hmm. And they were observing it in real time. They had cameras on it and stuff like that. And where it was hitting the board behind whatever the object was like very, very consistent. And then when they did it with no active viewing, so not from the or they stopped watching it, they just did it with the camera, it still reacted the same way. Then they took away the humans watching it and cameras watching it, and all of a sudden like matter was reacting different, almost like it didn't almost like there was something lacking in the kind of construction of the universe on like a quantum level, so to speak, right. Without actual like consciousness, kind of constructing it in a sense, I guess you can say, or affecting how it will react. I did a bunch of research on this like years ago. Like I was just like really curious about it, and like I don't know what kind of drove me to it, but I was like very interested in the whole topic.
So does that mean that whatever's happening on behind you is just fucking if nobody's looking at it, is everything going fucking wild behind you, right? The electrons and protons and fucking this, that, and the other thing going crazy until you turn around and then it fucking settles down?
You know what I always likened it to? A video game. So what's on screen forms what it needs to form, the colors and the pixels and whatever it is, forms what it needs to form because it's being actively observed. But off screen, nothing's there. I've just, for whatever reason, I always had that like kind of relationship when I was like, digging in all that kind of stuff. It always reminded me of like being in like some RPG game and like turning the camera one way and then something existing and then some turning it the other way. And you see it like kind of forming right in front of your eyes like that. I feel like, that's kind of what they were alluding to in a sense. But, I'm a salesman, not a fucking physicist, so I could be wrong.
So, but if that's true, then the manipulation goes even further than like, if it's just up to what we see in order to make something real, have we been told what certain things look like? And that's not necessarily their true form.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. I think because you could like touch it and feel it, it gives it some tangible realness to it, I guess. If you want to look at it like on a, nano perspective, I guess, like that, the space between the atoms would say, okay, it depends on your perspective of the situation, whether something's real or not, because if You know, if you're smaller than the atoms, then it's going to seem like they're going to be planets in between. But being that it's, you know, it's a pen and we're humans, you know, relative to us, it's an actual object. I don't know if you look at it from that kind of standpoint too. But I wanted to make a point about something, and now I lost that because I wanted to say that.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. Weed. Or at night at like 11 o'clock when you're recording a podcast, probably the perfect time not to do drugs too. It's not drugs though. That's the thing we had to be fucking. We talked about this last time. I think we talked about it last time. Weed is not a fucking drug. Weed is when you have a fucking long day and you just want to take a couple tokes and just fucking mellow out instead of, you know, going to shoot people.
When I pick up weed, I know that shit's real. You know what I mean?
It's real.
Like it's weed, man. It's real. It's solid. It's there. I'm feeling it.
Fuck, what was I gonna say?
It matters. There's something there.
It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries.
All right, I don't remember what it was.
I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy right now, and I know we should probably change topics, but I was at a body of water the other day, standing on the rocks, and I was convincing myself that if I thought hard enough, I could wipe out the whole entire scene and make it black.
You could do that if you close your eyes.
I know, and I closed my eyes. I was like, all right, now I'm doing it. But I was trying to get into that mindset of, is this all an illusion? And could I just fucking pull it away like a TV screen?
Yeah.
And then what would be there? It would just be black. And then what else would be there?
What else would be? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what's black?
Because
black something. Is it really nothing?
Just think about
Absence.
It's something though. It's something there. Like the space and it's like right at the tip of my tongue. I don't know. I can't think about it. I don't know. Like, all right. So air in front of us, right? There's energy here and stuff too, right? But we see through it.
Right.
What if you couldn't see through it? What if it was right in front of your face constantly and it was just like a thickness?
So you were forever in some like intense fog.
Yeah. Like is that what it would be if you ripped the whole screen off? You're going to have to rip the air out and everything, right?
I guess nothing it would be a vacuum. What you'd be saying, I guess.
It
would just be absence, nothingness.
Fucking
but what is nothingness though? Like, what do you?
Right.
When I picture nothingness, I picture just all like just white, plain white, with nothing there. But
really, I picture black. That's funny they say that.
Yeah, like a lot of people picture black as being nothing. But in my vision, when I think of like nothing, if there's no like planets, no moon, no earth, none of that shit, and everything would just be, I think, plain white to me. It would just be like a bright white.
I think
that's
that too.
That's what Hollywood tells you it looks like when you die. It just goes white.
Goes white, right? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I was brainwashed into thinking like nothing means like that instead of just all black and shit. But sometimes I picture nothing being just like black, but with stars, like just like kind of like empty like that in a way.
Yeah. When I think of like, when you say, oh, there was just nothing there, like you're saying like, oh, how did the universe come about? Well, there was nothing there. I picture white too for some reason.
Interesting. I'm going to start asking people this. I'm going to do a social experiment. I've been doing this. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
That's a good experiment to ask, man. That's a good.
Yeah, just to ask you, when you think of nothing, do you think of black or do you think of white? Well, I'll just say, when you think of nothing, what do you think of? And let people fill in the blank. Not give them a bias.
Or no, just tell them what color do they immediately think of, black or white?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna give them a color because maybe someone says blue or something like that. I don't know. That would be funny if that happened. But I've been doing this kind of like social experiment, I guess you could say, since high school. So, and this is completely off topic of what we've been talking about. So I'm sorry to like change the subject, but we could go back to it after.
Remember to do a poll. We have to do a poll about that question before.
Yeah, we can put it on Twitter too and see what kind of votes we get. But for whatever reason, I don't know what the reasoning is behind it and why I started doing this, but ever since high school, I've always asked people like, what is your birth month? And then what is your favorite season? And for whatever reason, there's like an 80+% correlation with people from if you were born in the fall. Usually, fall is your favorite season. Like I'm born in February, so for me, like I like the winter more than like the summer. Like I don't like sitting there fucking sweating, fucking it's annoying. Like I feel like I'm more born for like the cold weather. And then you talk to people in the summertime, it's oh god, I hate the cold, I hate this, I hate that. There's a huge correlation. What about you guys? When were you born? Like what months and what's your season?
That's me. August, man. Summer. Like I love the summer.
Happy birthday, bitch!
Nick, can you go 3 for 3?
I'm October, and for the
You don't
longest
like
time, what?
You don't like anything.
No, I used to like. I love the summer. I still love the summer, but as I get older and fatter, I don't like the heat as much. So I spring, fall. I don't know. I never said fall was my favorite. Honestly, it was always summer.
So you could be in that 20%. You just killed my whole theory right now, but we
No,
got to
I
ask
mean
one more
fall.
person.
I mean fall is my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean,
There it is. So I was talking about this with a customer today. She was saying how she lived in Florida and she hated living in Florida. It's too hot. And I had run her credit earlier, and I know her birthday was in January. And I was like, look at that. I was like, you hate the hot weather, and you were born in January. I was like, and I told her the same thing. Like, I honestly, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but I've asked at least 500 or 600 people in my life this question. Like, I've really done some legitimate fucking research on the topic, and it's, I mean, with girls, especially like, you know, more like in high school, college age and stuff like that. Girls always, oh, summer. I like the beach. I like this, I like that. Especially living in Jersey, 10 miles from the beach. But like a huge percentage of people it lines up with. Now, I definitely can't wait to do this nothingness conversation too. Have 2 social experiments to go through life with. I like that idea.
did that question about the seasons help her feel better when you told her her credit score was 549?
No, dude. Honestly, some people, I mean, guys, whoever listens to this podcast, I don't know how old you guys are. If you're older, you already know this. If you're young, your parents have told you and you probably blew them off. Pay your fucking bills on time. Being able to get credit when you fucking need it sometimes can save your life. I'm in the HVAC business, man, and sometimes I go to people's houses. They're like 75, 80 years old, man, and they didn't do what they needed to do in life. Even younger. You're 28 years old, bro. You have a house. Your air conditioning breaks in the middle of summertime. You don't have fucking $10,000 to buy a new air conditioning system. It gets fucking hot, and it's hot every fucking day. You have credit, 10 seconds, you got a loan, pay it off at your own pace, and you're good. That's when credit is important, not when you want to go fucking buy a Louis Vuitton bag and put in your credit card like an idiot. I'm talking about like really being able to like solve a problem when you need to. So if you're gonna get a little bit of life lesson out of this shit as a listener, that's one of it for the young guys and girls and whoever else you are.
Always pay my bills on time, man. Fuck that. Nick's like, I don't pay shit. I don't pay anything.
Or you guys could just buy a $150 air conditioner and throw it in your window.
or just
You won't be doing that if I come to your house. I'll tell you that right now.
just get a whole bunch of credit cards, max everything out, just go to town. Have
Right.
a field day.
And then kill yourself.
Yeah, they just jump off the bridge.
No, bro. And Meg, I know that you're in sales too. Nick, what do you do for work?
I don't know.
Okay, so in my line of work, I meet new people literally every single day, and I've come across more than one person. There's one guy, I'll never forget this motherfucker, bro. I was like 24, 25, and working at a car dealership. He comes in, and he's driving like some like fucking BMW 7 Series, whatever it is. He's looking to trade it in for whatever the car was at the time. It fucking was like some loaded like SRT-H Grand Cherokee or whatever. Right. This fucking guy tells me he's 40-ish, I don't know, whatever age is. He tells me that he's basically done this 3 or 4 separate times. He goes and racks up, opens up credit cards, maxes them out, and he'll get himself like $80,000, $100,000 in debt, claim bankruptcy, chill for a couple of years, start rebuilding his credit, and then within 5, 6, 7 years, he's got a good credit score again, does the whole process over again, and keeps getting $100,000 forgiven.
That's sick.
I mean, if you're willing to go through the fucking work for it, then you don't care about having bankruptcies on your fucking shit. I guess you could do that too.
See, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, bro, what? I was like, multiple bankruptcies. Yeah, I was like, okay.
That takes balls to do. I tell you.
Yeah, yeah. That's when you just know that you can work the system and nothing's gonna come your like nothing bad's gonna come out of it. The most fucked up part of manipulation, if you want to take it back to that, is most debt you can get forgiven. The one kind that I know of that you can't is student loan debt. So the loan they give to 17 and 18-year-olds that will eclipse six figures and have an absorbent 8, 7, 8, 9% fucking interest rate, that you start paying when you're 20 years old, 21 years old, when you first graduate college, at what, $800 a month, $700 a month, $1,000 a month, $500 a month, not having a job, living home with your parents, and then God forbid you have to claim bankruptcy because whatever didn't work out for you, and then you still have to pay that for the next fucking 20 years. That's manipulation right there. Telling a whole generation of parents that their kids ain't going to be shit without college, and making everybody think that you have to go to college, you have to do this, you have to do that, and then fucking saddling children, because when you're 20 years old, 18 years old, you're a fucking child still, saddling them with $200,000-$300,000 in debt. That's fucking manipulation at its fucking peak right there.
Yeah. Don't act dumb.
And
don't act dumb.
Down,
especially, look, we're all generally the same age. How many people you know went to college, got a degree in something, and didn't even remotely work in the field that they actually spent $85,000, $100,000 in education on?
Yeah.
My buddy that's doing my bathrooms, bro. Now he's got a full-time job and he does side business, making a ton of money. Went to school for fucking graphic design, got a fucking degree from a state university, still paying student loans on it, never worked a day in the field once in his life. And that's one person out of fucking, how many people came through in the last 25 years, generations? Millions of people saddled with fucking unforgivable student loan debt. Unforgivable.
That's just
murder is unforgivable. Making a mistake as a 17-year-old shouldn't be.
They should, that's what's holding everybody down in this world. I mean, especially that generation, our generation, pretty much. It's holding people back because of that. Like, they're just a slave to money, man. They have to work just to get that money, just to pay that off, to have a life. They should really just forgive all the fucking student debt out there. They should give people like us that already paid off our student debt loans. They should give us a fucking check, reimburse us.
A small loan of $1 million.
Let people fucking live. Let people fucking succeed. You can't succeed like paying off debt like that. It's basically a loan shark right there, a bookie. You know what I mean? You're paying off your fucking bookie.
Or how about
fucking bookie?
How about people just smarten up and stop going to fucking college? I'm not sending my kid to school. I'm not fucking sending him to college unless he's like, Dad, I really want to go to college for this.
Right.
After your high school's done, that's not your next step, kid.
Unless
there shouldn't be a reason why college starts immediately after high school.
No.
Realistically speaking, society as a whole and human beings and as individuals might be better off getting out of high school, working at whatever they want to do for a year, 2, 3 years, whatever the case is. Listen, there are people who are fucking driven, responsible from a young age, and they can go right from the fucking minors to the majors, go right into college, and boom, go live a better life. But there's a lot of people, and probably a huge portion of society that's not necessary for them to do. For them to just take up space and sign up for these fucking loans just for the sake of doing it, to get non-usable credits to transfer. Like, it's just such a ridiculous game. And you get these colleges, man, universities with billions of dollars sitting in fucking bank accounts. Not even kidding. And they're charging children this money. You go through COVID, bro. Fucking people, they're not. The classrooms aren't open. Teachers are available by email only, and they're still paying full tuitions on school. It's fucking crazy, man.
Way too much.
That whole fucking thing is like just an evil enterprise.
Yeah. I wasn't fucking Doogie Howser and shit like growing up. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. So like I was trying to figure it out, man. That would have been better for me if I had like a couple years to just work and then going on to what I want to actually do. Like, some people can't figure it out. Some people still can't figure it out.
And you take a couple of years off, man. You might in that time just kind of jump in job to job, land something that you would have never thought that you like to do. You just happen to fall into it. And now all of a sudden you're not only not doing something because you have to, because you have bills to pay, but you're doing something that you actually like to do, enjoy to do, maybe not if you've considered doing it in the first place. And you're going to be able to maybe contribute to society better, but on an individual level, your life day to day is going to be happier. Going to work because you have to go to work is a death sentence. Not a death sentence. That's a fucking lifetime chore.
Right.
Being able to figure out what really kind of like keeps you happy, keeps you engaged, doesn't feel like work. That life day to day is so tremendously different. I've had a lot of jobs in my life, bro. I've had, and I've been, like I said, I've been sales fucking since I'm 19 years old. I've been sales 15 years. So I've had a lot of different sales jobs. There's jobs that I've had that fucking every day was, oh my God, I can't, don't want to go to work. And then like my job now, every day I go to work, I'm like fucking like, yeah, there's days you don't want to go, but the ability to have gone through and dropped out of college and like found it and knew like, oh, this is my niche, like this is my shit right here, like that was life altering. I'm a happier human being right now because I didn't listen to everybody go take the NYPD test, go become a cop, go become a firefighter. Not that there's anything wrong with those jobs, it just wasn't for me. Not going to construction, like that wasn't me. But having that time like to assess who I was as a human being, as who I was going to be as an adult, not as a 14-year-old making a lifelong decision, fucking what school I'm going to go to. Like, I was instrumental in my day-to-day happiness. And if I can go back, I don't know that I could change a possible thing ever because of where I am now, just as a person mentally. That's huge for people. I can't imagine having gotten to the 21, 22 years old, man, and looking back and saying, I got all this fucking money in debt and I have no idea what the fuck I want to do with myself. I have no interest in doing veterinary studies. Like,
Mm-hmm. I'm one of the lucky ones. Any job I ever had, I actually kind of liked it. Not gonna lie, I kind of I got that personality where I'm just so like kind of chill at work, where I just like I kind of do like what I need to do, whatever. I don't have to fucking like exert myself. Just fucking chilling, man.
I have to exert myself. I have to try.
Like the fucking dream, man. Just to go to work and like, it's like almost like you're in La La Land. You're on the fucking beach inside your head, but you're still working. Like that fucking movie Office Space when he fucking got hypnotized. That's how I kind of feel. Like I feel like I got hypnotized like fucking when I was like 16 when I entered the workplace, and now I'm just like I'm chilling. Whatever I do.
God bless, man. That's a real charm to have, like a real like good thing in life.
Like, I'm lucky. I appreciate it too. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I joke around about it, but I'm very appreciative. Like, thank you.
It's one of the keys to happiness, man. Even if you got to just lie to yourself about what you appreciate until you start believing it, that's a huge, huge piece of just overall happiness as a human being.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit to deal with in life, man. It's probably the easiest time to be in history to be a human being in general. Just like, we're out hunting for our food and fucking, having to chop off limbs because we got a paper cut and it got infected. Like, it's an easy time to be a human being in that sense. But there's still a lot of shit to deal with, and making a conscious decision to be happy and appreciate what you have, no matter what the situation is. I feel like for me, I think that opens the door for more stuff. You almost kind of attract, more things that you like. It just kind of gravitates to you, like the whole law of attraction thing.
We were supposed to talk about we were supposed to all watch that Think and Grow Rich movie, weren't we?
We were.
I watched it.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Damn, I gotta watch it.
Yeah,
basically it took stories from the book. Like you thought. Remember, you were like, "Oh, is it like The Secret kind of movie?"
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of like that. It took stories from the book, but it was still good, man. Like there's a few different things where, like Thomas Edison, for instance, I don't know if this is true. I looked it up, and it could be like a little finagled or whatever, but it's a cool story. When he was younger, he was like a fucking moron, the kid, right? He was terrible in school. And so his mom got a letter, and she's reading the letter to her son, and she goes, "Your son, Thomas, is too smart to be in this school. We're letting him go because he's too smart, and we cannot help him any further." And the kid's like smiling. And then like 50 years later, Thomas Edison's sitting down in is it Thomas Edison? It's one of these guys, whatever. He's sitting down in like his study, and he finds the letter, and he opens it, and it says, "Your son is fucking stupid. He can't learn shit. We're kicking him out of the school." So his mom fucking lied to him and he became one of the
Wow.
biggest fucking geniuses on the planet.
That's crazy. So he just believes he was so fucking smart.
Yeah.
But even when he like discovered like electricity, he was just being an idiot,
Um,
Yeah.
right?
you say Thomas Edison discovered electricity?
I don't know.
Yeah. Did I? Yeah. Wasn't it
What's it?
I don't think so.
Thomas Edison? Well, he discovered the light bulb.
Yeah, I think that was it. But I think he stole that from Tesla, though.
Ah.
I've heard a lot of stuff about Thomas Edison where he was a little bit of a bully in that sense.
He's kind of an asshole.
Well,
Wow.
Thanks for ruining my
Yeah, it took a
story.
lot of stuff from people to claim it as his own and made his fortunes.
Thanks for ruining my stories, you pieces of shit.
That's well, I didn't mean to ruin it. I mean, listen,
Tom Edison,
everybody alive knows Thomas Edison's name, so he did something right. You don't do that by accident.
yeah,
So
what a
I
dick.
think
his mom
it was-
convinced him he was great, and the world's bend to his will.
Yeah. There's
That's
another
basically
one.
the whole point of the law of attraction, right there.
Yeah.
You
There's
believe
another-
what you get what you believe.
There's another story in there called 3 Feet from Gold. Did you ever hear this one or no?
No.
No, I think I have. I think I know what you're talking about. I just didn't
Yeah.
know it in reference to the Think and Grow Rich.
So in the book, it's about forming like it's about using your if you don't have the amount of skills in an area to go out and be smart enough to say I'm going to put money towards this. I'm going to pay fucking this guy to come in and help me in an area where I don't know. I don't have the fucking skill or the potential to fucking like, prosper in it. So what happens is, I think there was like two brothers or something they're on, or maybe just one guy. He had a big piece of property out west somewhere and he found gold. So they're digging, they're getting gold. And then the vein ran dry. Right. And they're digging. They're like, we got to find it. And they couldn't find it. They couldn't fucking get where the vein would be. So eventually they sold their property to somebody for like 40 cents on the dollar or whatever. And the guy had no idea how to gold mine, but he hired a surveyor. And the guy said, well, a line like this, it's either going to be 3 feet this way or 3 feet that way. That's the only place it can be. Right. And they dug and they found this huge amount of fucking gold. So it's called 3 feet from gold. So when you stop, it's supposed to mean when you get here and things get tough, the gold might be right fucking here, man. And just fucking power through it. Do not fucking stop. Because usually, right when you're about to succeed, it gets the fucking hardest. And you think you're not gonna. And 99% of the people in the fucking planet stop. And they don't get to where they're supposed to be. But it's that 1 extra percent. It's like, I'm just going to keep fucking going. And you get to that. And that's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, eventually you're going to get what you put out there. You just have to keep going.
The only time you fail is when you quit.
Yeah.
Good motto.
That's it. I mean, that's what it comes down to with anything in life that you want to accomplish. You know, you can try 1,000 times. You have to get it right once.
Right.
You
You know what I mean?
just don't ever give up. Just keep going, keep fighting. Well, I think that might be the end of the podcast.
Well, I'm glad we touched on all of our topics that we wanted to.
We're gonna have to continue more topics on next week.
What did we miss?
Part
We
2.
missed everything except for manipulation.
We went.
What was the other ones? I know Bitcoin, but I don't really know much about Bitcoin though.
Well, I guess we talked about the Matrix
Yeah,
a
we
little
kind of
bit.
Matrix involved in there.
We didn't talk about the Delta.
About the coronavirus.
Whatever.
We gave it as much due as it needs.
Yeah, we
It's
did
out.
good.
Be careful. We'll talk about it on part 2 of this episode. Coming out soon.
Right.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace.
The cat in the box.